Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio. Not so normal. How's Denise and Ron this evening?
Oh, we're good. How are
Good.
you?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing a lot better, getting over this stuff that I've had for a week and a half. So
Hey, Nigel.
trying to do that.
Thank you, Nigel. I hope you're doing well. So,
Well, we're
about
having
to get-
problems with this network going live over there.
Now on Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that popped up.
I know. We'll see if it kicks back on here or what it does. But yeah, no, the weather up here, it was, well, we'll put it this way. 6 o'clock this morning, it was 53 degrees. Now it's
that's not what
down.
it was here.
That was the high. And it's dropping down. We've had drizzle all day. And then tonight, about the time the show's over, it should start snowing. So we're going to have all that weather coming in again.
No, I went walking. It was muggy.
Yeah, we're
I
around.
don't know what the temperature was, but it was muggy.
We're 69 and windy.
Hello, Mom.
And by about 10 o'clock, we could start seeing thunderstorms, possibly hail. I don't think we're going to see any tornadoes, but it is our tornado season.
Right.
So
Yeah, we're supposed
I'll
to
have
get
to go.
60-mile-an-hour winds tonight.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're talking about us getting 40 to 50. I don't know. I know that they've gotten some pretty good winds in Texas and Mississippi. Parts of Louisiana got hit pretty good. You know, they canceled the Mardi Gras parades. They said that no marching bands and no floats because of the wind.
Right.
So yesterday, you know, Mobile had theirs. And I mean, we went by one parade that was getting ready to start. We know we went by others because they started at 10 in the morning and went till 9 last night.
Right.
But we were there when they pulled in the ship that they're going to be making the reef that everybody's been talking about, the USS United States.
Yeah.
We're driving back and I'm looking, I'm going, that's the ship. Ron goes, boy, that looks old. It looked like the Titanic. Hey, Crystal.
Oh, really?
So I got pictures of the ship and they'll be sinking it 20 miles off the coast of Destin in a couple months once they get it reef ready. It's going to be the largest artificial reef in the world.
Okay.
Well,
There's other ships that have sunk that are reefs now too.
Yeah. So what they're doing, it's supposed to help with the hurricanes and stuff, give some barrier. Because where there's the reefs, it usually slows down the surge from the water.
Right. I was going to say, if nothing else, it just shows our government that they like to litter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if the fish can live in it and it gives them a safe place to lay their babies and have their eggs.
That's true. We dump, like after Christmas, you always take your fresh cut Christmas tree and put it in a pond or the lake and everything for the fish.
Yeah, it becomes fish food.
You're right. Well, they like going in there in the spring and having their babies around it, and it helps out a lot.
It does. And this is about the same thing. I mean, if you guys are interested, go out and research, you know, what they're doing with the USS United States. And right now it's in Mobile, Alabama, being dismantled to just a shell. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, there's other ships out there. I mean, just think there's ships out there that sunk on their own that have all kinds of treasure and stuff. This one will be boring. There won't be anything with it.
Anyway, you got as a guest tonight because our other guest had to have a notice. So
yeah, well, both of our other guests that I tried to get needed
Chris.
notice. But yeah, Chris, hey, Crystal. Oh, good. So our guest tonight. You guys are all going to remember him, hopefully. He's one of my paranormal kids. He's been with us for I don't even know how long anymore. Prior to me having a show, at least. So this is we're going to bring up Charlie.
Hello, everybody.
Charlie.
Glad to be
Hey,
back.
Charlie.
Howdy, howdy. Hope everybody's wonderful tonight. Everybody on Facebook, hello.
Yeah, I hope everybody's warm and safe
Yes.
and not going outside to stand and watch the tornadoes as they come in. I mean, I know that's where
No
Ron
kidding.
will be as soon as the warning goes off. He'll be outside looking.
You know, I was going to say with this constant up and down, we were talking about the weather. This constant up and down, I'm sure you guys totally miss that Missouri, Kansas weather. Totally miss it. Yeah. Just
I saw that.
30 or negative 10 one day, and then the next, literally a week later, it's 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, did you
And snow.
not know that
Blizzard.
our town hit the world record books for the most snow in the state of Florida?
No, I didn't know.
So
that.
needless to say, we did not miss winter this year. It found
Oh,
us.
no.
Got a record everywhere.
Yeah,
Well,
it's set
there
a record
was-
everywhere, but we just had the most in Florida.
I do remember seeing that system come across. It's pretty wild how far south the snow got.
It took 3
Yeah,
days
well-
for it to melt.
To 3 days? Wow. How much did you guys receive?
Almost 10 inches.
Wow. My goodness. That's
So
insane.
basically, we had apparently Mother Nature is a redneck at heart because we had 4 inches before that, and that was the record for the state. It was here. And they said, Milton says, here, hold my beer. We're going to wait and we're going to see if we can get more. They beat it by a lot.
Yeah, clearly. Were they kind of freaking out? Didn't know what to do with the.
No.
Yeah.
they don't.
Everybody here.
Got the boogie boards out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Any
Well, yeah, 'cause
spoilers?
you
Like
know they
people
don't
tied
have
to,
any
you know-
snow plows in Florida.
No.
Yes, they do. They have 11.
Oh,
they
11
do.
for the entire
they're not-
state.
They're not.
No plow.
They're not here.
Yeah.
They're over on the other side of the state.
Ah,
Oh,
So,
makes
and
sense.
but needless to say, they got creative. We had all kinds of weird snowmen. We
Oh,
saw all the people were sitting out on their front porches here in blankets, smiling and laughing at the snow, where we would all have been going, "Oh shit!" not
Yeah,
again."
exactly.
Yeah.
All this all over again.
yeah. if
Nobody
all of them
here has
from
a snow
Kansas-
shovel.
Well, so it's kind of funny. Okay, so this is the really weird thing. Was
Night,
anybody
Nigel.
freezing snowballs and trying to sell them?
Uh-huh.
Is that so? My grandparents. This is back in. Oh man, it was before I graduated. I can't think of how young I was, but my grandparents did the Winter Texan thing, and it was all the way down towards Brownsville, actually.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And they had snow down there, and people were actually trying to sell snowballs that they had collected and put in their freezer. That it was like, hey, this is Texas snow. Like, how stupid!
Right.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I was just curious if there's Florida being Florida, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tried to pull something.
They probably did. I don't know. I didn't.
Yes.
You know, I was working, so
Mhm.
it didn't make a difference to me. I had stuff to do.
Yeah,
but-
that's fair.
It was just kind of funny that
Mm.
you know, here's our second winter here, and we actually get winter. But you know, you figure if we see, it'd probably be the only
A
winter
couple
we see.
days.
Yeah, honestly, that's not bad compared to the rest of the
It's-
year. I'm just
It's
saying.
Yeah.
rare that it even gets below freezing here.
Yeah, I would take that, especially
mean,
for
it
riding
was
weather.
just-
Like, gosh.
Yeah, it was just a weird circumstance.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
that Arctic front got down this far about the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time we get moisture off
Well,
the Gulf.
I want to say we were like negative 15,
Yeah.
negative 20. We were
Yeah, you guys
older
were-
here.
Oh yeah,
Some
we
of the-
were.
Yeah, I know we broke records with, I think the wind chill got to like negative 25, close to negative 30.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
we had
Wow.
negative 45 up here at
yeah,
one
see,
time.
and you guys are farther north than I am, so it just
Yeah.
makes sense. Like,
Did-
my gosh.
but what did you think of the pictures of the snow on the beach in Florida?
Oh, it was a sight to see, that's for sure.
yeah.
There was
You
a
don't
lot
see
of
something
people-
like that very often.
I told him, I
We
said,
went all the way down to Panama City.
yeah, I told him, I said, I'd love to go, but I don't know how many roads are shady that I mean,
Right.
shady covered,
Yeah,
that would be icy. So,
yeah,
you
makes
know,
sense.
and it was during the week when I had to work, so it didn't make a difference. So, but did you also see that Virginia Beach got some too?
No, I didn't
Just
see that.
recently.
Wow.
Yeah, they never get snow either.
just weird weather we're having. Interesting.
What do you
So-
think the pirates would have thought years ago if it would have dumped 10 inches on that beach when they were coming in?
I bet they would have been
See,
blaming somebody.
Would they have thought, who took the wrong turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we? Are we in America or what? Where are we? Why are we so far north? No, I'd be flabbergasted. Of course, I'd be freezing if I was a pirate with how warm those guys would be day in and day out. But yeah, that would be insane. Ugh, no thanks.
Oh, yeah.
No, and
Take
I
a
just
little
went winter
boat and Go
camping.
to shore and they come back and they got a big pile of snow going, look what we found.
Exactly. And I was one of the crazy ones a couple weekends ago. A friend of ours, Jason Kupsik, was putting on a winter camp out, and my brother, myself, and like there were several people that came out for it. So it's like a bushcrafting conference where they bring in vendors and stuff. And you know what? The first year that I did it, which was last year, it was just me. My brother didn't come with me, and I just had like a normal summer tent. Not ideal, obviously. Actually, it was pretty warm last year. Well, last year wasn't bad. It was like 7 degrees during the day, but then it like dipped down to like I want to say it was like low 30s, high 20s. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a sleeping pad. I've got like 5 covers. I've got a ton of layers. I'll be fine. Nope. When you're on that ground, and if it's not a weather like approved or whatever you want to call it pad, whew, man, that was freezing. I thought sleeping in the graveyard was cold that one time. That was way worse. But I mean, it made me, it got me acclimated. I was good to go. But then this last time, we had a hot tent, so we had a nice wood stove. I had a couple buddy heaters from the morning when the stove was out. Like, it was great, and there was snow on the ground. We had about, I think, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches of snow at the campsite, and yeah, it was a great time. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Winter camping, you're crazy. Well, not if you
that's what we
do
do.
the right thing.
No, not if you go prepared.
Exactly, which is what we were. And I mean, I'm going to use the same tent for next year. It was a great time. Great.
I mean, how many times have we gone camping and we wake up and there's ice on the tent?
Exactly. And that's,
How many times have we
what
gone
it was.
camping inside and had snow in our room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding. That I still couldn't believe that. Oh,
The
good old
first time
Malvern.
we use that tent and I make you come and help me take it down.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't too bad. It was a great investigation. Great time. Very fun
Yeah.
event. But
So-
no, it was great.
Well, I'm glad you had fun camping because I saw that you had heat and I was like,
Yeah.
well, that's cheating.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was, but that's okay. Well, it doesn't help that you bought, like, I bought a gosh, what was it? It was like a 0 degree to 32 degree like sleeping bag, which it kept me nice and toasty. The problem is my shoulders are too wide. So by the time that it zips up, it just stops about here. And I'm just like, okay, well, it's super tight. So I just kind of left it open. I had a cot, like a off the ground cot, which was actually really nice. That helped a lot. My brother seemed to stay warm. I was like, look, if there's any point you feel super cold or you feel like you're like, you can't feel anything, just please tell me. I don't want you to think like, oh, I have to tough it out. You know what I mean? I was just like, look, I don't want you to freeze. I don't want you to lose any toes. Like, just let me know. But no, there were times that tent got so hot, we had to open up vents just to make sure that we could breathe at least.
Yeah.
It was pretty toasty, I will say.
Yeah, we have a
But you have a wood stove in that?
Yeah, it was a small wood stove. It was probably about, I would say, this long, about maybe this wide. So you could fit about, I'd say, a solid maybe 3-4 good pieces. But if you were to put a log in about that big, that was about it, and you would just let it roast for the entire night. But yeah, it had it had the smokestack coming off the wood stove, and then there was what's called a pipe jack, where it was like a little hole in the tent, and that whatever that material is, it was perfect because there was a couple times.
It's welding pad.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we also had a little mat that the wood stove itself sat on instead of the tarp that we had for the tent. And it worked out perfect. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
You
other than
cook
getting
on
up,
it and everything.
yeah, which we did. Yeah. We did a little pot and we put some soup in it. It was great. It was, oh man, a lot of fun. It was a great.
So
time.
the question is how much bushcrafting did you really do?
Well, bushcrafting wise, it's more of, I didn't really do much. We had to go out and cut wood because the wood that was provided was just super soaked from the snow and everything. It's like they bought a pallet of wood from this campsite.
And
the
forgot
wood,
to cover it, huh?
yeah, they left it literally out in the field. By the time we got there, it's just covered in snow. So all the campers were just fighting. Like, I wasn't the only one, but the wood wouldn't catch. It wouldn't light very much at all. So my brother and I were just like, you know what, screw this. So we went out to the woods. We were chopping up some of the wood that was high enough to where the snow wasn't stacked on top of it. And we were fine with that kind of stuff. And yeah, if it wasn't undercover, people were fighting it as like just the amount of smoke. And I mean, I'm still trying to do like laundry to get the smoke out of all my covers and clothes, because just that smell just, resonates with it, stays with it.
Right.
So,
Have you tried Odoban?
I've never even heard of it.
It removes pet smells.
Oh,
You're right.
Okay.
Maybe, I mean, it's in a spray. I just put some in with your wash, and
yeah, I might try that.
It helps. Do not use those beads. They'll ruin your wash machine.
You talking about those little sprinkle beads? Yeah, I don't like those.
They'll ruin your washing machine.
Really?
You have to get a new washing machine.
Oh, screw that. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good.
Yeah, I ain't doing that again. I already told Ron. I said I'm not going to use fabric softener anymore. I'm not going to use that shit anymore. I want this to be the last washing machine I buy.
Yeah, I'm just a straight detergent person. Just put it in there and call it good. Unless I
I'm to the point. I mean, I've had 6 washing machines, and I'm 60.
Yeah.
This is too much. Too much. I'm done.
That's insane. No thanks. I'll pass.
Yeah, I know you're 62. I mean, who knew?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm totally.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have to go through. Not to mention this wash machine was already here when I got here, but it's fine.
So did you do any Bigfoot hunting out there?
No, we didn't do anything like that. So you know where Bennett Springs, Missouri is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lebanon, Missouri. Yeah, that's where we went. It was, I want to say it was Riverfront or Riverwood Campground and Canoe or something like that. And
yeah, we went on Bennett Springs, the Jack's Fork.
Oh, I love Bennett Springs. Bennett Springs is one of my favorite places.
That's where we went. We went on a float trip.
Yeah, I want to say I think it was Bennett Springs
territory there.
Right. So we kept hearing what we thought was dogs and other animals off in the distance. Somebody was like, "Oh, it's just cows." I'm like, "Cows? It's like 40 or it's like 30. No, it was 20 degrees is what it was. It was really cold that night. But the first night was the coldest. Second night, it actually felt colder, but it was warmer. I don't know what it was. It felt like it was more colder than the first night.
The dampness.
Yeah, which that's it, because some of the snow did melt. Yeah, that second day it got up to like 45. It was really nice. It was beautiful, and but that second night, yeah, it sucked. But yes, you're right. There was more wind. And I actually, you know what? I do know why it was colder in the tent, because when we first got there, the tent that I have, it has a snow skirt, so you could put snow around the bottom of the tent to keep the wind from coming up underneath the tent, because it doesn't have a floor sewn in. It's an open bottom,
right?
So you have to buy a separate floor, which it just attaches to some hooks in there. But if you didn't have those snow flaps covered, air would just easily get up in there, which thankfully that first night we did. But I think that's why the second night was definitely colder. But hey, we made do. It was fine. We were both. I gave him my old sleeping bag, and that one's rated for really cold weather. I went ahead and bought a new one. I wanted to get a new one anyways. So yeah, we had a great time. But no Bigfooting. I wish we did though. That would have been great. Go and knock on some trees.
Well, because that's the area where Carter Bouchard said he has seen or has a location in that area where Bigfoot is at.
If I would have known that, I definitely would have tried something, because it was basically just us. We were the only. I mean, they pretty much had the campground open for us. Like I think that following Friday was when trout season began, so they were getting things ready. Yeah, but we were the only ones there, which was fine with me. There was a huge turnout, bigger than last year's, and it was a great time. We had a blast. I can't wait for next year's. Huh?
It definitely for bushcraft. It definitely needs to be out in the middle of nowhere with cases nearby.
Absolutely, yeah, it was great. It was great. I think the closest place was either a gas station that was like 15 minutes that way, and then Lebanon, Missouri was like 15 minutes the other way. So it was just like pick which way you want to go. Hey, Cassie.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great time. We had a I can't stress it enough, but I know he's doing a summer camp out. I probably won't go to that because I'm not a big summer camper. It's just too hot for me.
Don't like
personally.
mosquitoes?
Well, the bugs isn't really. I can get bug spray for that, but no, it's more just the heat. I hate the heat now. Just being a bigger guy, I just not a big fan personally. But
but the thing is when you have nicer weather,
yes,
like this, you get out more and you're not a bigger guy.
that's true. That is very,
See?
very true. Very, very
Hey,
true.
Cassie, I hope you're doing well. I saw your cactus. It looks very nice. So
She was on the
I
show
know.
last night. She was very, very friendly and sad and also mad at the same time. She wasn't on. She was with us watching the show where Dave and I were just like, hey, this is our last one for a little while. So we're going to see how long that goes. But yeah, we're taking a little break from Boogeyman for a bit.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's got
How
a lot
long?
going on. We have no idea. There's no set time. Honestly, I would love to go back to it eventually, but I don't know if we're going to go back to it eventually. That's kind of where we're at right now, just because with him and his ghosted channel and his job getting busier and I'm hitting the ground running with this job,
Yep.
we both came
The
to the realization.
priorities.
Yeah, more exactly. The priorities have kind of
Mhm.
switched up and changed, but honestly, I still want to do stuff and talk about stuff, but a channel by yourself is extremely hard. And so it's doable. I've definitely done an episode by myself, but there's some other things that go into it that I'm just like, I can't make thumbnails worth a darn. I have no idea how to even do all that.
Well, guess what? This does it for you now.
Yeah, which does that? Your guys' thing?
StreamYard.
Nice. I didn't know StreamYard makes thumbnails like that now. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, if something popped up last night and said, "Hey, you want to do this?" I was like, "No, I don't. Not right now."
Yeah. Well, I thought about because I have Grok on X, which is their version of an AI, and I was actually messing around with some of the settings, or not settings, but I was messing around with it, and like it was actually making some pretty good thumbnails. Where I'd say like, okay, the channel name is Boogeyman Radio. Plug in the subject, display title and channel name on there, and a picture of whatever. And I said like Lizzie Borden, and it had like a lady that looked like Lizzie Borden, but it was an AI image, so it's kind of
Right.
it's fake, but it looks kind of real, and it had our name on it and her name. But obviously you want to tweak it to make it a little bit more.
Yours.
Yeah, exactly.
More unique.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So it was
that's
cool.
The part about AI that I don't like
Yeah.
is I don't want it to look fake. Now,
Right.
Now, to be honest, I took a picture back at Christmas time, and it was we have a train.
Oh yeah.
A
Bridge. that
train bridge.
rotates.
It rotates, and I took a picture of it after the fireworks, and it's all smoky,
Oh man.
and it looks really neat. Lauren
Okay.
tried to take a picture of it too. Hers just didn't come out.
Huh.
Mine came out,
It looks foggy.
and it looks really neat and spooky.
You
So
have
if you
to-
look at my Milton Paranormal
Milton
meetup,
Paranormal. Okay, cool.
that one, I've been using that for the backdrop for our meetups. And
That's great.
somebody goes, "That looks like it was AI." And I go, "No, I took a picture
That's
and
all
I went
real.
on another day. And of course, it's during the day, and you can see where it's real.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just that night after the fireworks, it was just so
Well,
neat looking.
You guys have, I'm sure you've ran into this plenty of times when you're out investigating and someone, or even just someone shows you a picture. Like if they're out investigating, they're taking a random picture of a field or a graveyard or whatever, and you see like a white mist. It's like, well, how do you know that's not fog? How do you know that's not someone's breath? Like those
Right.
pictures look cool, right? But what are
Yeah.
the chances of that actually being something?
Well, it's like that picture that I have that's on our Pride More Paranormal page.
Yeah.
It's of the Villisca Axe Murder House, and it's got
Yes.
these lines going through
Yep.
it. And I had an old BlackBerry phone, and I took a picture.
Mhm.
And here's this really neat looking picture. It's
Yeah.
lightning bugs. It was a very slow shutter speed, so
Mm-hmm.
it looks really cool.
Yeah, and I have similar pictures like that with being in graveyards where it's like, man, why is this camera effect happening? Like you being young and naive, oh, that's really cool. Well, no, when you dive into it, it's just shutter speed, like you said. There's
That's
plenty
all
of
it is.
bulbs, there's plenty of little trinkets in a graveyard that can give off little light. And so if your shutter speed is open for too long or just right, it'll cause those little streaks with your shaky hand movements.
Oh yeah, because the older we get, the less steady we are.
That is very
Right.
true. And I'm cursed, right? It's already hitting me, but it's not like, oh my gosh, bad or anything. But I've definitely have a little bit of little shakiness, but it's just small, subtle stuff, nothing crazy. Like how I really noticed. Do you ever use the phone app where you're like, you could look at the sky and it'll show you like a map of the stars and everything? You guys ever seen those before? I was doing that one night and I had it just in one hand and I was holding it up and it was like, man, why isn't this thing settling? It was because it was my freaking hand just kind of, okay, why is... Then when I put two hands on it, it was fine. I was just like, man, I didn't realize I shook that much. It's kind of scary. But no, the side note, kind of going back to what we were talking about with the mist and fog and crazy lights and pictures. The only picture that I will say that I've ever taken where I think that a fog or a mist rolling into a picture was something. I was at my sister and brother-in-law's. I think I was dog sitting. They were going out to a Halloween party. They had asked for me to just take a picture of the both of them because, it's just, hey, this is our costume, whatever. So I took a picture of them. But right before I took this picture, we were inside, by the way. Right before I took this picture, I saw this like weird, just like mist come into the shot. And I was like, oh my gosh, like seeing it in real time. And I took the picture and I showed my sister. And we have no idea what it was. We don't think it's spider webs. We don't think it was any fog or mist because we are in a temperature controlled environment. So there's no way it could be any fog from any of us. I mean, shoot, we were literally in a house that's running either AC or heat. So what that could have been. But we were both just completely caught off guard. Well, come to find out, it was the anniversary of my brother-in-law's mom's passing.
Oh.
I didn't know that at the time. So my sister pulled me aside. Like she told me a while later and I was just like, oh, because I'm fully under the impression it was a unexpected accident. Just like, very unexpected. And yeah, I fully believe that she checks on them 100%. Like without a doubt. So seeing that, it kind of gave me like a little bit of reassurance. Like, okay, she could pop up at any time, anywhere. Like, am I going to ever, because I lived with them for a while. So it's like, I was kind of getting in the mindset of, hey, if I see something, don't freak out. It could just be her kind of thing. Yeah. With growing up in a haunted house, you'd see stuff. I mean, for me, it was sporadic. It was never like, oh, something happened this week. Something happened this week. No, it was usually like years would pass when I'd finally have another paranormal experience as a kid. It wasn't a frequent thing, at least that I don't remember, but it was pretty sporadic. And to me, it's very interesting, when people go into places like YouTube channels and they're like, oh, we catch stuff all the time. And it's like, how how do you do this?
Secret. When I was growing up, unless it was something major, it just seemed like a normal part of my day. And I just kept going.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, I can see stuff all day long, and then unless it's shocking, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. Sometimes I don't even know that it's something paranormal happening. It's just there. Absolutely. And I just kind of let it be. And I know that sounds weird to some people, but when you've been looking at this stuff for over 50 years, you just get
whatever.
I don't want to say acclimated.
Yeah.
But you get desensitized.
Absolutely. And it's just like, oh, okay. Well, that's another thing. That's exactly what happens. And even as a little kid where I didn't understand, like before I really knew about the paranormal, I remember certain things happening, and this wasn't dream state. This was actually happening. I could remember certain things, but I would just like, oh, that was my sister. Oh, that looked like, because it looked like my sister for one. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's weird. Well, she wasn't there. And then what happened, there's no way it could have been my sister. With the path, the trajectory, everything that it did, there's no way it could have been an actual physical person. So that really caught me off guard in that experience. But I totally get it. I really do feel like over the years, when we actually have experiences, it definitely desensitizes us. And I would say I'm getting to the point where, investigating is great. I love investigating when it's actually serious and people want to take it serious. But when it comes to like events and stuff like that, I'm just there to have a good time with people, hopefully have some sort of experience. And if I document it, cool. If I don't document it, cool. I just want to have some experience. And I don't know if it's, but it's, it's very random. It is so random when you actually have, like, for me, like, there's been a few times where tech kind of goes off, but it's like the more and more I see people use tech, the more they base everything and like on it, you know, and
Way
it's
too much.
so
And you-
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Like-
takes the objectivity
Hmm.
out of it. It's all
Absolutely.
subjective to that at that
Yeah.
point. And so that's my big thing. You know,
Mhm.
like when we were at McPike and then we went to Ashmore.
Oh yeah.
Okay. When we were at Ashmore and we had that experience and it sounded like Rick.
Hmm.
If we'd have had a piece of equipment, it may have picked up a sound,
Hmm.
but it wouldn't have said, "Oh my God, that sounds like Rick."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we knew what we were hearing. Oh, and by the way, we may be meeting up with Rick's mom for
Oh,
lunch when we go next month.
nice. Good.
So it'll be good for us.
Yes.
But that's one of the things that, you know, as fun as tech can be in an investigation, we can't rely on it 100%.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but with that being said, when you do have multiple devices and multiple devices are going off, like, and I'm not saying like phone apps that are creating words or getting your location and relaying it back to you or going off
Right.
of what you're saying, suggestive wording.
Yeah.
I'm talking about more of like, oh, well, and people give me crap for it, but it's fine. But the chances are, let's say I have a cat ball go off or a REM pod go off or a what's the one I'm trying to think of, the EMF rope thing, not the there's two kinds. There's the one where it's like there's lights that are spaced out, and then there's one where it's just like a single line, and then it's kind of hard to explain. But yeah, the tripwire it's very flexible. You can kind of move it to however you want. So if you have multiple devices going off relatively within the same time, and what I mean by that is like, you know, within a minute or so of each other, there's a good chance there might be something actually happening. Like that's what I think.
They're not on top of each other.
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
if you ever notice, some people put them all in the same
Yes.
area and wonder
Yeah,
why.
they put them all within a area
Yes.
like that.
Yes. And I will say when I don't know if when I was up at Caldwell County, actually one of my favorite experiences up there, we were in the basement, and this is when I was with Dusted On. We had, I want to say, like 6 or 7 people in the basement, but it was like we had one. Gosh, I'm trying to set up the scene here. I can't remember the room, but there's a hallway in the basement, right? And we were in, I want to say it was like a boiler room or some sort of big. There was some big device in the room, but I can't think of what it was.
It was in the boiler room down there where they used to heat
Yes.
the
So
courthouse with.
several of us were all spaced out, and we were going from the room into the hallway. Well, it seemed like whatever was happening, because somebody had a K2, and then somebody had something else, somebody had something else, somebody had something else. And it was like boom, 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 like just going in a circle. And it did it like 3 times, like just making all the devices go off in a circle. And we were like, whoa, that was weird. Like that's something that's like, okay, well, there could be actually something happening here. Now, I didn't think it was phone service, because phone service would be a whole different story as how devices would react. But were there like this one?
Did one kick off the next one?
I don't think it did.
They were so close together.
Well, no, we were pretty spaced out. It wasn't like we were on top of each other. It was like, I would say probably 3, 4, 5 feet from each other. So we were a pretty good distance, I would say. Which, I mean, you know, some stuff can be different ranges.
I have to be.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
To make sure that you're explaining it correctly to the people who aren't there.
Yeah, so they can get a good idea of what was happening. But yeah, that to me, that was that when you have different amount of tech like that, which is great. You know, move stuff away, get things spaced out. And I think one of my least favorite additions to, you know, the REM pod is the temperature sensor. I cannot stand the temperature sensor on the REM pod. When you have teams or a paranormal group using the REM pod and it's next to a window when it's cold outside and it's an older windows, single pane, it's probably going to pick up the cold coming in from outside. And
Right.
on your video, if you don't move that REM pod from that part the entire time, of course it's going to keep going off as cold in that section.
Right.
Yes, that has happened on a YouTube show that I've watched. So
I know.
yeah.
it's
Do I
just
look shocked?
ridiculous. Yeah.
Do I look shocked?
No,
I mean,
no.
If you'd have put one in our room at Malvern, it'd have gone off all night.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
It's Susie. She's visiting you guys. It's clear, it's ghosts make it cold. Okay, well, then what's the hot sensor? Why is it getting hot? Like, yeah, to me, temperature sensors are kind of iffy unless you just get a huge sudden cold drop. Then that's something. That's something.
If it is in a temperature controlled area
Yes.
and it drops or goes up and there's no air conditioning on at the time or heat on at the time,
Right.
I could put a little validity into it.
Absolutely.
Like when your EDI meter went off at the Sally house, because
Mhm.
I know that has a temperature sensor.
Yep.
But at that time, it wasn't the temperature sensor that went
No, it
off.
was the
But
EMF.
if it had,
Mhm.
that would have been a good place for it to have gone off because we were not near a window.
Exactly. I have
So-
yet to have that temperature sensor actually go off the way it's supposed to.
Mhm.
Like I really do trust the EDI, like in the EDI plus, I do trust both of them because for me, it's just, even with the EMF, you can definitely tell the difference between when you're picking up like electronics in the building, like wired systems and stuff, or when it's something from people's phones or something from like walkie-talkies or other pieces of tech. But for me, yeah, I really like the EDI. I still use it for sure. It's one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah, I remember when it was your brand new toy.
Yeah, that's bringing it to Sally house. That was great.
Yep.
That was the day with Rick where we both heard the growl in the basement. That was wild. That was the only time that I investigated with Rick, actually. Like I seen him here and there and talked to him, but as far as like full on and like, which I mean, I guess it was really the helping with the tour, but we were able to investigate a little bit.
Didn't you get to meet him prior to Dusk to Dawn at the jail?
I met him, but I never got to investigate with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had never because I don't think so. I could have sworn that was the only time, because he had I want to say he had rented out the Jalen Marshall's home, and we were just there, getting it all ready for him and everything, and that's where I was able to meet him. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that tour day at the Sally house was the only time that I'd actually investigated with him. And it was wild. I mean, you know how Rick investigates. It was nuts. But the thing is, he wasn't even really provoking. We weren't provoking. But to hear, like, I would say I've only heard what I would consider an unexplainable growl twice in my life, and that one was definitely it. And I will say, because of that growl, and obviously other things, but mainly because of that growl, I will never go back to Sally house. I do not ever want to go back there, ever. So it's just me. People can say whatever they want about me, but it's not a place that I need to go to.
Yeah. And welcome, Carol. And we would love to see your picture of a spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love that for sure.
That night we were investigating with Rick. That was the first time he'd been there.
Yeah.
And he had gotten to where he was provoking. We were down in the basement. It's all on video.
Mm-hmm.
And about 14 minutes in, you'll hear it'll say something. You'll hear it loud and clear.
Was that
not in the echo box? It switched over to
I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. If there was a video, because didn't you get scratched?
Denise,
I know you got scratched all the time, but like that night specifically,
right.
you got scratched.
When it says what it says, the temperature dropped like crazy.
Okay.
I wished I'd had some kind of meter. I mean, I didn't really need it, but I would have liked to have seen how much it dropped, because it got freezing cold in there, and it was about 70 degrees.
Yeah, it's
no
thanks
that night.
Yeah,
I mean, it got so cold. I turned my head one way. The guy with next to me, he turned his head the other way. We were trying to see if we could see our breath.
Mm-hmm.
That's how cold it got. That quick.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That place has got so much interesting energy, and it's hard to nail it down.
That was wild.
Yeah, I'm sure. Gosh, I just no thanks. That's it. I mean, I'm all for having a paranormal experience and seeing things, and like there's been times where it's just like, hey, I don't have any tech going, I have nothing going, and I'll just say it out loud, be like, hey, I've got nothing going. I would love to have an experience. I would love to see you if you're open to letting me see you. If you want that to happen, sure. And I've only ever had it happen once, but that one time, oh man, whew. Experience that I will never ever forget.
If anybody wants to watch that, it's on YouTube. Just go to Paranormal Warnings.
Yeah.
Probably type in Rick Rose Sally House.
That would help.
It's actually the episode or part 2. You can watch part 1. You'll kind of get an introduction, but it's part 2. It's about 13, 14 minutes in, but you'll hear it. I mean, it's loud and clear. You'll hear what it says. I'm not going to say it.
That was one of the very first live streams we ever did.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up having a show, was because of that.
Yeah, that thing, he had gotten at whatever it was, he got it pretty pissed off.
There's something there that I just don't want to mess with, and I don't want to have
not
part
anymore.
Of my life.
No, it
ain't there no more.
Oh, that's good.
Girl Scout cookies.
And it was on Good Friday too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Easter weekend, we went.
Yeah, you'll see if you watch the whole clip, you'll see it kind of building up, and then when it says it just it's like all hell broke loose.
Yeah, I will say my personal preference. If I go up to Atchison, I'm gonna swing by McIntyre. That's just my personal preference.
Oh yeah.
I not just because of the paranormal, but I love what she's done the place as far as looks and how it is inside. I love the feeling.
It was always a beautiful house.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is so nice. I love it. I love being in there. Love being around it. It's great. Had several interesting experiences there, and each time I go, it just feels like it keeps getting better and better. Like having
it wasn't as haunted as I thought it. I mean, I didn't really, when we first went there or go by it, I thought, they tell a little story, and I thought that can't be that haunted. And then we actually went in there. It's like, damn, I was surprised.
Yeah,
it was active.
My favorite thing about there is when we went there before Stephanie bought it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we were in there with the Garrity's.
Okay.
And they were walking us around, and they were talking to the people that I had in there with us.
Mm-hmm.
And they walked us all the way through the house. They didn't take us in the basement because it was storage at the time. But they took us up to the attic and everything else. And while we're standing there, and they're interviewing them on camera in the bedrooms to the south, the south bedrooms. And I hear something running up and down the stairs, sound like kids.
Oh yeah.
Running up and down the back stairs. And Ron looks at me, and I go, did you hear that? Because we couldn't really talk because they were, they would hear everything on camera. And I was like, running up and down the steps. And he's like, and so I went down the hallway, and I could hear it even more loudly. So that's had to be where it was at.
It could have been because
there was no kids. It was only the two Garrity brothers were there. Their sister hadn't gotten there yet. So, because we had Keith and Gerald.
Okay.
Yeah, that were there. And so, like I said, we had a really good time there.
Yeah.
But then the second time we went, we met Carl for lunch, and then we went, and we of course we met Brandon and his wife and all these people up there, and we had a great time. It was just really interesting. We had so much.
Katie.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting place.
It is.
Every time I've gone there, I wouldn't say, well, I can't say every time, but I would say I've definitely had experiences there. I think in the 2 out of 3 times that I've been there, I've had stuff happen. Now, the first time or the second time I was there it's kind of hard to base on if you're actually having experiences when there's a pretty good sized group there. So it's just like, it's events are events. Things are happening, things don't happen, whatever. But the other times that I've been there, it's something, that's for sure. When Dave and I are rolling with our microcoms, Dave was rolling with his microcom, and they ask you to play Alice Cooper. I'm not kidding. It literally asked us to play Alice Cooper. So we just decided to play Alice Cooper, and it said thank you after it was done. It was wild.
So what Alice Cooper song did he play?
I played Feed My Frankenstein is what I played.
Okay.
I know it's not his most popular, but that's my favorite one because it was on Wayne's World. It's just
Well, you know what? Just because, well, long story short, we were coming out of the store the other day and Dream Theater came on.
Oh,
and I said,
nice.
"Oh wow, they're one song."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we know
Exactly.
that it's not just one,
Yes.
but it's the only one they play on the radio. And it's like,
Yeah.
why is that? And we have Sirius, so
Yeah.
I don't know why it's only one. But
Who knows? I've never had a spirit request a song before, and so that threw me off for sure. I was just like, what did that just say what I think it said? And we both were just kind of taken back, but we were in the moment, so we did it and everything. It was great. And then
sometimes that's the best ones.
it is. It really is. And I will say one of the craziest REM pod things that we've had happen there was we had a REM pod in oh gosh, the lady, the chair.
Goldie?
Thank you,
Goldie.
Goldie. I get her and Gracie mixed up. I don't know why. I just happened.
Well, I just got so used to telling the story about Goldie on the top trolley.
Yeah,
So
there you go. Yeah, absolutely. And hi, Susan. I wanted to say hi.
Susan, Mike, hello.
We had the REM pod in that chair, and it was anytime we'd turn the camera away, it would go off. But as soon as we put the camera back on, camera facing it, it would turn off. So we had this little back and forth for a second, and Dave did a quick knit, and it turned off and on, but it turned right back on, like we confused it. So we pointed that out, and we we're just gotcha kind of thing. So it was a fun little cat and mouse kind of instance there. But yeah, it's a crazy active place. I mean, one of the wildest recordings I have ever heard has come out of there, and I'm not a fan of the Panasonic DR
DR40.
The gray ones, right? Whatever those things are. You can't plug it into a computer, or you can, I'm not sure. But
No, you can't.
So those things are to me ancient, but Stephanie put one inside of a glass case. Her and I were sitting in the room, and this is in the doll room. You could clearly, I can't say clearly, but you could hear us talking where it just sounded like kind of muffling because it's in a closed glass case. And this wasn't the glass case with the doll, by the way. This was a different one. Like right when you walk in, it's to the left. She puts it in there, and we get the craziest, it was about 3 to 4 minutes of a conversation of something trying to get Stephanie's attention. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was recording y'all was pun unintended. Yeah, exactly. That it was haunting Cassie. It was so crazy to me. I was gonna sleep in that room, but it kind of freaked me out because there was it was screaming. It was saying I'm burning. It was really, really. I was taken back. I was actually kind of turned into a believer in that instance of that recording, because mostly it's okay, well, if people have it in their hand, maybe they're shaking it, so it's coming they'll hear that kind of sound, which it is famous for.
Well, you can hear that with your cell phone too.
Yes,
people will hold their cell phone and not realize that they're touching where the microphone is. And or when they're moving around, it catches the wind. Whatever wind it may be, and because the other day I was on a call in the car and somebody goes, "It sounds perfectly fine to me."
Yeah.
But to everybody else, they're going, "That is so much noise. How can you deal with that?" And it's it's fine. I don't hear anything. But the noise was so loud for them. The little bitty mic was picking up every bit of road noise.
Yeah. And that's so when we had it inside that glass case, she's not holding it. We're far enough away that we're not interfering. You can kind of hear us in the background, but it sounds so muffled. You can't really tell what we're saying, but then you hear something else talking and it's just okay, what in the world was that? And I'm actually trying to find the video of it. We talked about it on the show a while back. The
question would be, was that person related to the fire that happened down the street at the theater that it used to be
I thought they had
it
a
used to be a
fire in
church.
the attic.
Not that I know of. So, but I know that there was a fire at the theater
the
down
theater,
the street,
yeah,
and that didn't that house wasn't it at one point like
can
a
see where that
boarding
was.
house?
Oh, geez. You just had to ask questions about the
I
location.
don't remember, but I do know that there was a fire and some people died related down to the building down the street.
Mhm.
But there, Atchison is one of the few cities that didn't have their downtown burn.
That's wild.
Yeah, you see it all the time. Like here in Milton, our downtown burned, and there's hardly any. There's one street left of historic buildings.
What was that? Just because people were angry and they just decided to go burn everything?
No,
It was a
it's
general. Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Bad electric.
Oh, Cassie said yes, a boarding house in the 40s and 50s.
And I think that's when that fire was.
Yeah.
Where that theater is. But the theater wasn't.
Where that was.
Yeah, there's two different fires in there, and it was a church originally, and then it became the theater. And
wow,
it's still got the burn marks.
Susan, we're talking about Atchison, Kansas, and a couple other things, but yes,
right.
Yeah.
All right, so I found the video and I found the segment of us playing the recording. Can I share?
Yeah,
you go ahead. Bring it up.
Yeah,
talking about
it.
McIntyre Villa.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it'll share audio perfect.
You
right.
got.
Yeah, this is just it's a clip that we put on. It's recorded from our show that we did with Stephanie. We kind of did like a little reveal on the show. And so we just were like, you know what, let's segment it really quick and just put it up. So this is pretty much, it's 4 a.m. Dave's elsewhere in the building investigating by himself. Anybody else that was there is all passed out. Stephanie and I are just having just a fun conversation in the doll room, like just kind of just chilling, whatever. And she just nonchalantly puts a recorder in the glass case. You can kind of hear us in the background. That's Stephanie. And that's where Stephanie grabs the recorder out of the glass case. Yeah.
And you
We were
and you guys heard none of this with your ears.
none of this with our ears. Nothing
Wow.
like this. Yeah. So yes, Tom, you are absolutely correct. It is the exact same voice that entire time. We have no idea what it is, but I will say it said something about there's 10 of them. They're black.
Yeah.
They have caught black figures in that second story hallway, like full on solid apparitions in that hallway. So
the history of Atchison
yeah.
is they wanted Kansas to be slaveholding.
Okay.
So David Rice Atchison, who was the founder of Atchison, he wanted slaves to be part of Kansas's history.
Wild.
Right.
But it used to be that if a slave ran away and it came to Kansas, they were allowed to come and get their slave and take it back.
Wild.
And there are some churches and some other buildings there that are part of the Underground Railroad. The African Episcopal Church right there on the main road coming across when you come across the river to come into Atchison, right after the gas station there on the south side, there's the AME church there. It's a African American Methodist Episcopal, something like that.
Okay.
That is part of the Underground Railroad. They said that at one time that the River House used to be part of the Underground Railroad. We have no proof of that. Somebody said that. I have no proof of it. But that's one of the things. Maybe it's related to that part of their history.
It could be. I don't know, because this same voice, it addresses Stephanie, like it knows her somehow. Don't know how, but it does. Was saying it was in front of the closet. That's weird. In front of the staircase, which is right, like they're right next to each other, like right in front of each other. The closet and staircase, or the staircase and closet, whatever. But yeah, when we thought, when it said there's 10 of them, they're black, we were thinking like just like black apparitions, not of African Americans. We were thinking that it was just like there's something dark coming to get us. We don't know what it is. And then we were like, okay, well, what's the burning sensation? Is that someone being burnt alive, or is that a spirit like going through a burning? It's just, what is it? What could it be? And we don't know, right? We have no idea.
Like I said,
and you just stuck a recorder in there.
Literally, it was a closed like it was one of those glass
like a courier cabinet.
Yeah, like it was
Whose idea?
Yeah.
Whose idea
it was
was
Stephanie.
that?
She just did it. She's like, I'm gonna put this in here. I'm like, okay, cool, and she just did it.
Was this in the
Wow.
front?
I know what I'd be doing the next time you go.
Was it
right?
Was it on 13th Street or Kansas?
I'm sorry.
Facing.
Okay, so it's in the doll room.
Closets when you first come in.
Right when you get up to the staircase, the left room. Okay, so let me back that up a second, because there's two staircases.
Right.
Yeah.
There's the back and then there's the front.
The one that would be the front.
Okay.
When you go up that staircase, the second floor to the left is the doll room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in that room. And then right when you turn left, right when you get into the doll room, you turn left, and there's a glass case right here.
So
Just
it was
right
on
up
the
against the
wall
wall.
next to the hallway.
Okay.
To the
That
staircase.
faces Kansas. So
It wasn't facing the road.
Not
he
the
says
glass
it's facing
case.
Kansas.
Yeah,
Well,
But still, I mean,
it's right
My
next to that
question-
window, I would say, but we didn't hear anything like it. There's no way.
I know at 4:00 in the morning there wouldn't
Yeah.
be heavy traffic
No.
on
No.
that cobblestone road.
And if the audio is so loud that it peaks the microphone and the microphone
In that
cuts out
case.
altogether in the case, why didn't we hear it?
And since Cindy wasn't driving the bus,
Yeah.
Cindy backed into a pole behind there.
No, jeez. Yeah, it just,
So we were on the bus. So yeah, on the trolley.
we can't think of anything except
Neither.
it was paranormal. That's all.
yeah,
I can think of.
I'd definitely
Yeah,
do
that-
that again.
Yeah, I just, after, like, it's going that, I've never heard a recording go that long before. Like, just,
No.
which
See what-
we think that says more stuff that we just didn't, we didn't put words on the screen, because I thought it said like in the green room or something like that as well. And so we just Dave didn't put words on the screen, but I do think it says other things in the recording. It's very.
Yeah, I was wanting to do another get together. We were planning on April, but plans had to change.
I understand.
But, I was trying to get some input from now. McIntyre was one of the places I had on my list.
Yeah.
It's a solid.
And the Garnett House is another one. I
right.
thought we could do one night and hit another one the next night.
Well,
Right.
either
Not
one
that
is
far.
great. Yeah, we love.
Well, I mean, we could do both. Something
Yeah.
like that. We could do back-to-back nights.
Which, speaking of that, kind of what we're talking about, are you guys going to Paracon, Casey?
No.
No.
Casey Paracon with Jason? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, wait. Which one are you guys talking about? The big one? Because
No,
there was the big one, and then there was the one that Jason just
No, like
just
what
released.
what we did at
Jason just released one?
Yeah, he just went in public with one. It's going to be, I think, August 2nd, and it's going to be
that's
in a
right.
Masonic Lodge in Leavenworth.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
okay.
that. And
Yeah,
I
that
think
one's
it's
gonna be
actually
awesome.
the weekend of Ron's birthday.
Of course it is. But
But
so
it doesn't
yeah,
matter. We
August
wouldn't
2nd?
I think it's August 10th.
Oh.
Honestly.
yeah, she might be right. I could be wrong,
But-
but it's around
But
then.
yeah, right now we're not planning on coming up for a Paracon. If we could do
That's fair.
anything, we would be doing the Paracon in Gettysburg.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be really cool.
But
That's
yeah,
fair.
we were hoping to come up to Kansas in April, but my nephew has stage 4 brain cancer. So
Right.
we're going to go
Oh.
see him.
Okay, that makes total sense. You should go do that.
And
Uh,
then we're going to do another trip for my birthday because I'm turning 30.
Woo!
Yep, 30.
Yeah.
My sister sent me a message. She goes, "Oh, I wanted you to come here to
Well,
Virginia Beach for
okay.
my birthday." And she goes, "We could spend your 60th birthday together." And I said, "Who said I'm turning 60? All witnesses are dead."
That's right.
That's right.
That's true. That is true.
So yeah, we're thinking about going down the Key West.
Yeah, why not? Go enjoy yourselves
Yeah.
for sure.
And then we're hoping to go to Ireland
Oh wow.
in September.
Right.
We got a passport. We want to use it.
Yeah, might as
So-
well. Just make sure you have those real
Paracon
IDs.
Is August 2nd. Yeah. Like I said,
I'm not big in the Paracon.
yeah.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah, I was
Now,
just throwing it
Charlie,
out
are
there.
you
I didn't know if
going-
you'd seen it.
Are you going to that big Paracon down here in Kansas City?
It just happened last weekend. No, I did
Oh,
not
did
go.
it?
Yeah, it was.
yeah, I
Did you
don't-
hear what it was going to cost?
that's
Yeah.
the reason why I didn't go.
175.
Woo!
I
They
wonder how
know
big a
things.
turnout
Nothing
they had.
extra.
From what I had seen pictures wise, Friday was pretty slow. Friday is a Friday. It makes sense. Saturday, it was hit or miss. I'm honestly not surprised. Not
No,
surprised
I'm not either. It's
Paranormal
price is
people
ridiculous.
don't have money.
right.
Looked
and-
like it was a bust. Yeah, I
and-
know it was going to be a bust.
Yeah, and to be fair, Kansas
Too much
City is
money.
not that big of a market for it either.
Into
No, it's not.
February too.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was stupid.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
I
you
don't
You
know.
knew
Have
they-
a snowstorm or
Yeah.
blizzard.
I don't know who
I-
put on this event, but they
That
didn't
was
think about
dumb.
it very well.
Yeah.
And you gotta in Kansas City, you have to start small and build your way up. You have to build because for one thing, how are people going to trust you? This is the first one in Kansas City. How do they know if it's going to go well? How do they know
Yeah.
what celebrities are going to charge? Because not only do you have to pay the fee to get into the place,
Yeah.
the celebrities are going to charge you as well. Like
Right.
Planet Comic-Con, which has been going for a long time, doesn't even charge that much to get in.
Huh.
No.
So I'm not
Everything else
surprised.
now costs you an arm and a leg.
Yes.
Planet
Yeah.
Comic-Con.
And that's the thing is I don't and I go to Planet Comic-Con every year, but I'm not going there just to see the celebrities. I'm going there to enjoy the floor, go buy things like the market and all that kind of stuff. So I'm getting my money's worth for sure.
See, that's what I said to Ron. You know, Frank, you know Frank Bennett. You've
Yeah.
seen him on here. He sent me a message. He goes, "I'm thinking about going to the Kansas City Paracon because they have, or the Missouri Paracon because they have all these celebrities." And I was like, "It's not going to be worth your time." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "First off, they don't know how to plow the roads in Kansas City, Missouri. That's the first thing. You're
Mhm.
going to get bad weather between
Yep.
St. Augustine, Florida,
Yep.
and Kansas City. We already know that."
Right.
And I said, they're charging so much for the people to come in. I don't know how much they're charging for vendor tables. And he
Vendor
said
was-
$200.
Yeah.
$500
more
for a
than
Yeah, it
vendor's
wasn't
table.
200.
Well,
It was
here's-
200 for the half a table for him.
Yeah. You want to know what's even crazier with that though? Those vendors couldn't leave that room. They had to stay in the vendor room. They couldn't go explore the rest of the con.
Right.
Yep.
That's insane.
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear what
Mm.
our previous guests who were going to that have to
Yeah.
say.
Oh,
Yeah,
I knew it was gonna be a bust.
I hope they had a great time. I really do. I hope they had a good time because from what I heard that there were celebrities in that same room with them, but the fact that you couldn't go to the rest of the
yeah,
no,
that's
why would you host at Ameristar? That's just why.
So you know me. My whole thing is I don't want a table at anything.
Yeah.
I would
I get
much
it.
rather pay to go
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy
Mingle and have
myself,
fun. Yeah.
mingle, talk, and spend time with people. Because if I'm not spending time with people on my time,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't want to do it. I want to be able
Yeah.
to sit down, 9 times out of 10, if we go to a Paracon, I'm sitting behind somebody's table talking to them.
Yeah.
I'm not standing in front of their table talking to them. I'm sitting down right next to them and talking to them and learning about
Exactly.
them.
Yeah. Like it just if the vendors can't interact with the other people, what's the point? What is for being a vendor? Obviously, the point is to sell stuff. But here's the thing:
You can't spend anything.
Yeah, you can't. You can't spend anything because you're spending all your money just to walk in the freaking door. Especially since, I think the weekend package was like over $200. That's insane.
It was $175 plus you had some fees attached to that.
Yeah,
Right.
which was that the weekend? Because I thought the one day was like 120.
It was either
it was
100
like
or 120 for
$170.
one day.
That's way too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, it was like
It's
$175.
insane.
Then you had to pay for any of the things that you wanted to do.
Right. Oh well, we're
If you
paying
wanted-
that. We're charging that much to get all the stars in here. Lower the amount of stars. Like,
And who says they're stars?
Yeah, who in the hell?
yeah, no kidding. No
do,
kidding.
So
do they
those
not?
vendors didn't make a
Gosh.
penny in there.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
And I
that's
feel
wouldn't
so
have-
bad for them. But again, at least I talked a friend who needs to make the money
Oh, it
Yes.
was.
out of going. Yeah, he would have lost his ass driving
yeah.
there from here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah, because they would have had
I
to
am
pay
so
for their own
sorry.
hotel, own all that stuff.
yeah,
Guarantee it. It's
And-
it's ridiculous.
that's one of the things that when Dave did his Paracon, he did a really good job.
Yeah, I
It
thought
was
so
just
too.
too bad that there was so many other events going on
Yes,
in
I
town
agree.
at the same time.
Mhm.
But the thing
We were actually
is,
talking about that last night.
he did such a good job. He did not overcharge.
No.
Oh, we had fun at that one.
And, like I told Brandon as well, I told him the same thing. I said, when you do a Paracon, you get the people that are local to you.
Yes.
Those are who they want to meet. The people in the area want to meet those people. Find people that are willing to pay their own way to get there and
Yeah.
do it.
Right.
Don't pay people to come,
Right.
because
We-
once you pay one time, every other place they go, they're going to want to charge.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night because I asked Dave if it was like, hey, because he was like, maybe I should do another one, just like, whatever. And I was just like, well, if you could, where would you have it? He's like, well, I thought about Springfield, I thought about Joplin, thought about Arkansas, but Arkansas is probably just too expensive and it's out of the way. And I'm just like, well, you got options. Like, that's why I like
Yeah.
Coop Six. Coop Six is literally to get in $10.
I know.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
He's always
Yeah.
Jason has always kept the price
Yep.
at a decent price.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes his venues were questionable.
Yes. Well, okay, so that is something we did talk about. So this Masonic Lodge is actually on the second floor of this building. They
I know
have
it is.
yeah, it's in the one in Leavenworth. So they have like this huge marble entryway, which is awesome. Looks amazing.
Yeah, I know where it is.
We're doing something there Friday night, but they have one of those handicap electric chairs that go up. They're trying to get that fixed for anybody that is handicapped. But I think what he also talked about doing is if someone is like, if they're just adamant that they can't go up the stairs, there's 2 other rooms on the first floor that they're thinking about turning one of those rooms into a streaming room where if they want to go there, like to go and watch it for free, go for it. Like if they're still interested in listening to the speakers and everything,
Mhm.
presentations, they could just go there, go watch the live stream, whatever. It's for free, essentially, is what he was thinking about doing. So, like I said, thinking about that doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. But yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm happy to see everybody. They've got, I think it's Dustin Perry and someone else coming in for it. There's been several people announced. Give me 1 sec. I'll tell you I'm totally blanking on the other people. It's Rachel something and
Oh yeah, Rachel Stratton and Brian Murray.
yeah, I think that's who it is. Yeah, they're
Waste
having
of
them
time.
come along as well, and then they're gonna have some other speakers as well. Dave's gonna be a speaker. Let's see the signing
Dave
Paranormal
is.
Seekers. Yeah,
Dave's
it's
the best one.
it's
He
Dave.
should be the headliner.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told him.
Brian Murray and Rachel Stratton.
About as exciting as a stick in the mud.
I don't know them, so it's like I'm sorry, I don't know
Ghost
you.
Hunters?
Well, yeah,
No
but
one.
not when they were on it. I only I probably watched it up until
Yeah, Mike Ricksecker. But
I watched it up until I think I watched a little bit of Ghost Hunters International, and that was about it. That was it. I stopped.
Brian and Rochelle live in Alton.
Yeah.
Long story short, we had a very bad experience with their team. Remember that Paracon we went to
Yep.
in Alton?
Yes, I do remember that one. Yep.
Investigation.
Did you do the investigation with us that night too?
I'm
Where
pretty
we
sure
got-
I did, but I think
Where
like
we got abandoned by our team lead.
Yeah, and then eventually it just got to the point that I think
Some
Lauren,
local
Beckett, and I
guy
just
just
went
happened
off
to
and
be
did our
there
own
that-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he had been a tour guide there in the past, and we ended up with him. But Rachel was supposed to be our tour, our lead.
She said she had to get her drink on.
That was
Yep.
her? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no
Really?
wonder I didn't recognize her.
About 15 minutes in?
That's funny.
Well, we got
Wow.
we got down.
I asked her a question. I said, "Where are all the hot spots?" She's dicking around on her phone. And she
Yeah.
looked at me and kind of rolled her eyes. She goes, "You'll just have to find them." I'm like, "Okay."
Wow, really
Then she
informative.
goes, then she's on her phone, and next thing you know, she goes, "Oh, we need to get our drink on. See you."
No, it was
Jeez.
they got us downstairs to the basement where Chris was. Remember, we
Yes.
went downstairs
Oh,
with
that
Chris.
was
Yeah,
And
amazing.
when we got done with that, that's when they abandoned us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it just because I was able to be with Coyote Chris and be a part of his drum session. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
we
really
had
cool.
a good time with it.
Yeah,
They did
I-
say they had to get their drink on, and that's where they went.
I will say I'm thankful, even though they were, I'll just
Like, what a
politely
bitch.
say not the greatest. As Ron says that, it's perfect. I'll just say that I'm glad we were able to explore the building because you just can't.
Oh,
do it
yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you
So-
can't go there now at all.
Yeah, you
No.
can't. You can walk
Right.
on those first floor with the few rooms, but that's
That's
about it.
about it.
And unless you're renting it for an event, you're not getting down there.
Yeah, it's pointless.
Yeah.
So side note here, Dave and I were kicking around at a possible another possible location of just like checking places out. Do you guys ever spend, or did you ever spend much time up in Hannibal?
No, but I want to go.
I do too. I want to go so bad. With all the history that's up there with Mark Twain and other things, I'd love to explore the so-called haunted spots, which I don't know really any
There's
of them.
supposed to
But
be some.
From what
Yeah.
I understand, though, from Rob Garcia, they
Yeah.
don't really embrace their
No,
haunted
really,
history.
They don't.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Interesting.
But
Interesting.
Rob can tell you a lot about those places.
I'll have
He
to
had
reach
all
out to
kinds
Rob
of
then.
hauntings in his house.
So that when I go up there, it'll be kind of like it's something I had talked about last night on the show, where once things really get rolling with the company that I'm with, it'll be like a reward vacation, take like 4 days off work and go to somewhere that I've never been, somewhere fairly close. And I feel like Hannibal would be a perfect location. I want to say it's like 3 to 4 hours away.
Yeah.
It
from
is.
where I'm at. So it would
Yeah.
just be a nice
It's
like
about-
motorcycle
About
getaway.
4 hours. It's 3
Yeah.
hours from
Yeah,
me.
3.5, 4
Yeah.
hours for me.
Yeah, it'd be just a
It's
great
right across
motorcycle getaway.
36, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
Yeah,
I love
straight
river
across
towns.
36, and
Yeah.
as soon as you go past Hannibal, you're in Illinois.
Yep, and I love
Yep.
river towns. So to me, that would just be perfect. And I'm like smaller river towns. Yeah, Hannibal is a pretty good sized city, but it's
And
not
there's
like
a lot
St.
of
Louis.
caves over there.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
One of those caves is extremely haunted.
That's what I've heard. I want to. I see. I want to go explore these places, or at least she's like, "Hey, I've been there." But yeah, it'd be
that's
neat.
kind of how I feel about it. I mean, that's what kind of what we're doing now is
Yeah,
we're actually going out and checking out places for
good.
different reasons, not just haunting.
Well, yeah.
I'm seashell hunting. I'm
Yeah.
rock hunting.
Explore, live a little, have
We're
fun.
looking for alligators.
Yeah.
So far, I haven't found one.
Are the, I would say the grandkids involved? Are they involved at all with that process?
We try to take them out and about, but they
not interested.
Nolan's got his head on a swivel and he's too busy paying haven't paid attention to. And Piper, on the other hand, is she can't walk. Grandma, my legs are tired. Can we stop? Your grandpa is half a mile ahead of us, and we got to catch up.
We got to get going, sweetie.
But again, when I tell her to wear shoes that are good for walking, she puts on Uggs.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's so comfortable.
Not good shoes for walking.
No,
but these look great.
I know, and it's like with me, Ron will go, "You wear something for walking," and I'll put on my flip flops. Because that's what I'm comfortable
I wonder
with.
where she gets it from. I'm kidding.
No,
you're actually comfortable. Yeah.
He knows that I'm more comfortable in my flip-flops than I am in anything else.
There you go.
But yeah, I'll wear my tennis shoes. If he says, "Hey, we're going out in the woods," I'm wearing tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bad part is they're not going to be steel-toe boots or anything like that. I'm probably still going to be in trouble with snakes, but
I've got my tennis shoes, they're just straight. Everything that I have pretty much is always steel toe. I thought about switching to the acrylic, but that stuff's just too expensive. Or not acrylic, ceramic, but it's just too expensive. It's very expensive stuff. So my cousin, he was like, yeah, you should switch to that instead, because if something heavy falls on your foot, that steel toe is going to chop right through your toes. I'm like, oh, great, wonderful, thanks for that visual.
Yep.
But for riding, it's perfect.
The ceramic's going to do the same shit.
It'll shatter and pierce your feet for sure.
Yeah.
But it won't just
slice it.
Yeah. I don't know. I had to wear a steel toe when I worked at the steel plant and
saved your feet a few times. I bet. Yeah. I bet
heavy stuff would fall on it.
Oh yeah, and to this day, there's been several times that, like, when I worked in the restaurants, the amount of times that I would have stubbed my toe on things, but because I had steel toe shoes, it's nothing. It's fine. Everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, but I'm sure steel plant, that's way different.
Oh yeah,
way different.
Oh, I used to tease Ron. I said, if you're going to work on the pouring floor, make sure you're carrying a bowl all the time. So if they accidentally pour stuff on you, I'll have a bird bath to remind.
Yeah, no kidding.
I know that's kind of sick to tell me.
It's fine.
Yeah, bird bath.
It's okay.
He didn't do it that long. I mean, he worked at the steel plant a long time. He just didn't work on the pouring floor very long.
I was up there. I was filling in.
Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, though. I trust steel too. That's for sure.
Well, I do know that St. Louis has quite a few paranormal conferences and stuff.
Yeah. It's great. It's fun. Dave's actually got another one booked up. One in Cape Girardeau. Funny enough, they have a conference as well. Good for them.
They have some neat places over there.
Yeah. Yes, and that's another area I'd love to get down to. I actually really, the farthest northeast of Missouri that I've gone, as far as like in Missouri, I'd say it's probably Elephant Rock, Tom Sauk Mountain, Johnson Shut-ins. I know that's not super far east Missouri, but it's down in that area, southeastern Missouri, which I really like going down there for sure.
Well, see, I met Ron not far from southeastern Missouri. We were barely in Arkansas. But yeah, Cape Girardeau was, on the way to St. Louis up 55. And there was a lot of, when we were there, we went to St. Genevieve, talking of drinking.
That's what Tom's talking about. There's a lot of wine.
A lot of drinking.
Which is north of there.
And distilleries now. Probably.
And all of that was, we went to 2 or 3 different places and 2 of them were haunted. And one of them, she locked when I said something about a ghost, I was teasing at first about a ghost on the wall because we went after McPike Mansion. So it was in the fall. And she goes, "Oh no, let me show you where our ghost is." And she took us through the whole place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's cool. Nice. That's
So,
awfully nice of her.
there's quite a few things in St. Genevieve.
Hang on, let me lock the place up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know what? People
That's the
went into
best.
wine tastings while she was upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, it was kind of neat. And we went by a couple other places that were also haunted in St. Genevieve. And I know that's a little ways from there, but you know, if you're on your way
Not too
to
far.
Cape Girardeau,
mhm.
coming from at least the Kansas, from the St. Louis area, it's
Yeah.
on the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And-
it's that whole up and down section right there at that border. There's a whole bunch of history there. Whole bunch. I mean, it's up the Mississippi, so it just makes sense. So,
Well, you know, one of the things that I would tell people all the time is when we first got involved publicly with the paranormal, that I would say, you know, if you took a map of Missouri and folded it in half, Atchison, Kansas, and Alton, Illinois would probably fall right on top of each other.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And both of Atchison and Alton are on major rivers and major thoroughfare or major trains.
Yeah.
And if things had gone different, Alton could have been St. Louis and Atchison
Yeah.
could have been Kansas City.
Which is wild.
So-
to think about.
So when you look at the histories on how similar they are on the things that they're similar about, it's just really unusual, you know, if you look at the natural parts.
Mhm.
You know, the other parts you can't really do much about, but
Right.
you know, the Native American history in both of them, the water, the trains, the
Major
the-
hubs of travel. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm sure, God forbid we don't get wiped out by some sort of natural disaster. However many years from now, when the modes of travel change, they'll be saying the same thing. It's like, oh, these interstate highways used to flow from this city to this city. Well, like what we were talking about, where river to river, or not river to river, but town to town on the river, because their interstate highways was the rivers back in the day. So
Yeah.
you have all
Right.
these major populated areas all the way up and down rivers. So they just change with where they put the roads, the major
now it's
highways.
going to be based on where helipad to helipad.
Yeah, no
Right.
kidding. They land the car real quick. Yeah, absolutely. Or where it's under tunnels going from town to town now. Yeah, it's interesting to think about like where things are headed as far as that goes. But to me, with roads, like kind of trains, or not trains, but rivers, trains, and roads, I have yet to see any science that backs up the same claims that trains and rivers have, where it like with energy. Yes,
Mhm.
roads can hold heat, right? They can have that energy in there. But as far as conductiveness, I think that's the right thing that I'm going with here, where train tracks, you're going to have an energy reading off that thing like crazy. It's going to,
Right.
that metal is going to let energy flow through it.
Yeah,
Water.
but you got rebar and highway.
See, that's another point too. So is that,
Yeah.
can the energy from that go into the highway? That's another great question.
And not to mention that with the rocks that they use, there's a
Yep.
lot of granite, a
Mhm.
lot of not sandstone, limestone, and other things
Limestone.
in that gravel that they've used. So everything. I mean, if we go with everything has an energy,
Mhm.
then you're going to have it no matter what,
Right.
Right.
wherever you're at. I
But
mean,
what would be the better conductor at that point, essentially?
Right.
Right.
so
That's such a
maybe
good point.
where the train tracks cross a highway or cross a road might, of
Yeah.
course, don't see in the middle.
Well, and it's also unfortunate because a lot of accidents happen, like especially the past where it's like at train track crossings and stuff. It's going to happen. It's unfortunate, but
Yeah, we had a
it-
lot when I was growing up.
yeah, I mean, I've actually kind of been not working on, it's just a theory that I've had, but I don't know if you guys have heard the theory of like the pyramids being just basically like giant energy holders. Like they're able to hold energy. So how Egypt has changed over the years, just it's constantly changed.
Yeah,
Used to be lush and green, rivers everywhere. Like, yeah, you have the Nile, but there were plenty of split offs. There is a theory that the Sphinx and the pyramids had water running underneath it, or the Sphinx was laying in a bed of water and it would flow to the pyramids. So, which I think there is water down deep enough if you go into Egypt. But to me, it makes sense. If it is an energy conductor or holder of energy, you have to have that flow of water going to either one to really, especially the pyramids, to go with that. Because those stones, I mean, those are what I couldn't tell you what the stone is off the top of my head, but it just, there is a science to water and energy, metal and energy. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something to roads as well. We just haven't really studied it that much.
Well, it's kind of hard to study a road.
True.
Because they replace them all the time.
True.
Well, there's that, and then what about our red dirt roads or gravel roads, or because gravel roads are going to probably be a lot more than these red dirt roads or just regular dirt roads. So
absolutely.
Who knows? And maybe is it possible that these pyramids are just giant organites for protection?
Yeah, it's a very good point. Very good point. I mean, why else would they would organize multiple pyramids in the shape of constellations? Not just the Great Pyramids of Giza, but like whole complexes of different civilizations are mapped. Yeah, it's interesting stuff to me for sure. I'm majorly fascinated into Egyptian mythology and architecture. So
look at the Mayans. It's the same. It's a similar thing, and Peru has got quite a few of those as well. It's just a matter of which one can we spend the most time on.
Absolutely.
Right.
The bad part is with the Mayans, we can only go with theory.
Well, you just wonder how they built the pyramids, because they said even with modern day equipment, it would take a while to do.
I literally watched this guy. No, absolutely. I watched this video of they couldn't move these these stones by man strength alone. If that makes sense.
Right.
Like they had to have some sort of mechanical difference that we have today to be able to move like these huge heavy stones, and as far as they did, plus with also sawing the stones down to just the precision where it's like you can't even put a paper like in that slot.
Yeah. Laser precision.
So perfect.
Yeah. Laser precision back then. So who was helping them?
Yeah. So this whole theory where it's like, oh, they had this saw and they'd put sand in with the saw and it would help cut the stone. Okay, explain the precision. How did they measure them all?
How did they get a perfect 90?
Literally. Yeah, everything. It just doesn't make any sense. And nobody wants to stop and think about this kind of stuff.
No, because if they do, their heads will explode.
Yeah, okay. Right. I don't know. Well, that's the whole point when we're trying.
And they can't answer. See, they can't say I don't know.
Yeah,
because that's not an acceptable answer.
Well, and now we know what Charlie's answer. Would you like to go to the future or go backwards?
Oh, it's definitely backwards.
You're gonna go back to Egypt.
I'm definitely gonna go backwards. Now I need to change how I look. Obviously, they're gonna think I'm probably some like I don't know. Somebody they make
it. This court gesture.
Well, it's something. I don't know. I'd have to change my look because a white dude that looks like me in Egypt might get a few eyebrows raised.
But you don't know. That's the thing.
True.
You don't know what people look like then.
You don't know what your past life was.
Well, that
could have been there.
I mean, to be fair, we didn't know that that dinosaurs had feathers until within the last 10, 15 years. Dinosaurs had feathers. Did y'all know that? Yeah.
There were some
crazy.
that did, yeah.
Well, no, like T-Rexes and all those, they had feathers.
Really?
That is you guys should look that up. Yeah, they have now like most and the sounds that we think we know of what dinosaurs make completely different. Completely different.
Know?
So what they could do is they map what would look like the vocals in it's like I think it's like an AI mapping or whatever. But you take some of the DNA of these dinosaurs that are buried and you have a machine recreate it. And that's how they know. Yeah, like the sounds, it's completely different compared to what we think a dinosaur sounds like. But yeah, it's what we thought
so
dinosaurs
Jurassic
looked
Park
like forever.
Is totally wrong.
It's pretty much, I mean, size maybe right, size of the dinosaurs. But yeah, as far as how they look, it's not as scaly and crazy as what we thought. Yeah, they are reptilian, but think about this. Aren't chickens like a very different version of a dinosaur? They're a very different offshoot of a dinosaur. They have feathers,
Just a lot smaller.
just a lot smaller. Yeah,
Well, I would
exactly.
think closer to a pterodactyl,
And better,
which
and
might
probably
be
better.
Yeah,
But
that's go look that up sometime. Dinosaurs have feathers, or do dinosaurs have feathers?
I do
Or have
know on
feathers?
the size of the dinosaurs that
Mhm.
they're probably very close because I've been to
Yeah,
the
I agree.
Museum of Natural History, and my mom used to live in one of the places where they found like mammoths
Yeah,
in Saltville, Virginia, and they found one in the Salt Lake there
hmm
intact.
that'd be
You
wild.
know, but yeah,
I'm
when you
waiting.
think about that,
I'm waiting for the day that somebody, which they have it. I know they have the DNA of a darn woolly mammoth that was frozen in the Arctic somewhere, but I'm waiting for the day that somebody recreates it and makes it come to life. I guarantee it's going to happen eventually. Science is
I
going to be the death of
saw-
us all. It's just what's going to
I
happen.
saw a thing on TV the other day where they were saying that there's a possibility that they still live in Alaska or
I
in
wouldn't
the
be
Arctic,
surprised.
and that we just don't see them. That's what
Yeah.
they're seeing.
Well,
It's not Bigfoot or whatever. It's this.
yeah.
It's-
So
wow.
think about this as well. With how vast I want to say is not Africa. Where is it? South America, and then Madagascar. Is that Africa? Madagascar?
No, that Madagascar is off of Australia.
Australia. Okay. So I'm thinking the wrong area, but like heavily tropical rainforest, perfect example. We have yet to map out the entire tropical rainforest. Like actually what's inside those thick trees, like what the
Mhm.
floor looks like. We have no idea. So we have no
Right.
idea what animals are still out there that we can't find. Same with the ocean. We can't map. We can map out where the floor is at, but we don't know what it looks like. Like there's deep sea fish that they're like every single year, like, oh yeah, this is a new fish. This is a new fish that we finally see. Like it's very interesting how much things have changed over just in the short time that I've been alive. So I fully expect that. I mean, they actually found okay, I can't think of his name, but the main guy that's always in charge of the archaeology over in Egypt. I can't think of what his name.
I know who
But
you're talking about. I
Yeah,
can
but
see
he's
if I
on
can
like
see-
everything Egypt,
Yeah.
ancient Egypt. They actually found a tomb of a king. They didn't say who it was, but of a pharaoh, and I'm sure it's going to be released on some show or something. But they did find a new tomb, and I think in the Valley of the Kings. It's been years since we found the last one, so I don't think it's going to be as big of a discovery as like King Tut or anything. I mean, it may be,
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, I do see things, especially with AI. With AI coming up, I think we're going to see vast changes in the way we live. Not just like AI assistant, but like medical, transportation, science, like everything. I feel like it's going to be such a huge part. And he says, yeah, only 1/3 of the Andes is mapped in South America. Good point, Michael. So
Exactly.
it makes sense. Technology is only going to get better, right? Or
Yeah.
scarier. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting what the future is gonna look like. It can be a blessing and a curse. AI is what I mean.
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, right now, AI it's the talk of the town, but it's also
Yeah.
the scarlet letter.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You have on one hand, Musk warning about AI, and then you have on the other hand Musk using AI on X. So it's like, where's the line, right?
You
Where's
have to
that
find the
dividing
happy
line?
medium,
You do.
as with everything else. You cannot be on your cell phone 24 hours a day. You shouldn't be on it when you're driving. You should find a way to, put it down and get away from it.
Yep.
But-
Well, hey, fun
and I mean,
fact:
I know
Missouri
I'm horrible.
passed that.
Easier said than done. isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, Missouri passed a law that if it's in your hand or on your lap, they will pull you over for it and write you up for a ticket. No warnings.
Missouri's been like that.
No, it just full in effect went in.
Yeah,
I was
I was
gonna
gonna
last-
say, what
Yeah,
was
yeah.
that
did.
before?
Because
Yeah.
I know that they had a law that said that you cannot be on your cell phone while you're driving.
Well, that's a warning, but like because people would get pulled over and they warn you about it. This is no, we are going to give you a ticket.
Yeah,
They should.
you'll get a ticket.
Hard
It's
thing.
distracted
Yeah.
driving.
Absolutely. And I'm sure
It's
I think
as bad
accidents will
as
come
drinking.
down. Yeah. I think accidents will come down because of it.
I hope so.
I know one thing. When I was driving around all the time, I could have took a stack of $100 bills with me, and if I saw anyone not on their phone, I'd have gave them $100 bill. I wouldn't have got rid of any.
Yeah. Well, around those $100 bills would be, they're not worth as much as they are.
I got to keep them
there were
all.
more back then compared to now.
Everybody was on.
Right.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Absolutely. No, it is so bad.
Dangerous as hell.
But again, moderation is important in everything.
Well, you say that, but then you have these Teslas where it's just complete autopilot when you're on the highway.
Yeah.
And you'll just have
But
somebody
again,
doing this.
that's the stupid person who spent the money to buy it.
Yeah.
It's still moderation is necessary for
Absolutely.
every damn thing we do.
You have to
And-
unplug.
Yeah, you cannot have a car that is 100% automated.
Yeah.
Who's at fault should you hit
Well,
somebody?
you actually, I don't think it is
automaker or the
100%. I
driver?
think you have to touch the
Well, I
steering
think
wheel
they're all
every now and then to
automated.
keep it going. Yeah, they have to touch, and that is a program that I'm pretty sure Tesla put in where you have to engage in something within a certain amount of time
Yeah,
to
they're
keep the
still working on
autopilot
it.
going. Yeah. So that there is, I'm sure there's workarounds in some way, but I just couldn't buy one.
But
I wouldn't want it to blow
It can't
up.
be any
personally.
worse than some of the people I've seen drive.
Oh yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
I get it.
seen some bad
During
ones.
the bad weather here when we had the
Oh
snow,
my
all
gosh.
these people were bitching and complaining, right? And
Yeah.
I said, well, the day that you guys can drive on a sunny day and not have a problem,
Yeah, no
we'll be
kidding.
good.
That's
Then-
how I feel.
Then,
Oh,
then think
God.
about driving on the snow.
Yeah, that's how I feel about being in Kansas City too. Like I grew up in the country,
Yeah.
and one of the biggest things my dad taught me how to drive. Like when I was learning how to drive, one of the biggest things he stress tested with me all the time was driving on snow. So I can definitely say I know how to drive on snow. Now I don't know how to drive on snow like I'm in Minnesota or Michigan or something like that. But the
They know how to
Kansas
treat
City
their
snow,
roads up there, though.
exactly. No, true. So up here in Kansas City, I'm constantly just like when I'm on a motorcycle, I'm looking for other people, seeing how close everyone is around me. Just because if I hit my brakes all of a sudden, and I know
Who's
what I'm
gonna hit
doing, they're not going to know what the hell they're doing. So
Right.
I just turn my hazards on. Like if there's snow on the ground, my hazards are on while I'm driving.
You know what I did? I told my boss I don't make my deductible in a day.
Yeah.
I'm staying home.
Yep,
I don't care if you're going to write me up or whatever, but this job is not worth my life.
Absolutely. I completely feel the same way. I'd like to go. And we had to actually say, it was kind of funny. Not last Wednesday, but 3 Wednesdays before, we had snow each Wednesday morning. And it was the Wednesdays that I was going to go be with a local dealership to go work.
Oh, great.
And it's just like, I couldn't go be with them because of the freaking snow. Well, my boss also had a 4-wheel drive Jeep. Me, I've got a 2-wheel drive car. I'm not risking my life for that.
Guess what we saw off the road here during our snowstorm?
Let me guess, a
Well,
4-wheel
right.
drive Jeep.
All the Jeeps. Because almost every house, every other house has a Jeep,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not
and some
surprised.
too. I'm not
I
kidding.
have no idea why. But,
Jeep.
They
is
cost
the
a lot in
most
gas.
oh, yeah.
They figure they're only driving 30 miles to the beach. They're not going
Right.
anywhere else, right?
Right,
No.
exactly. That's
But-
true.
But that's what we see here is that everybody has a Jeep. Well, like I said, every other house has at least one Jeep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when Devin was sending me pictures of cars off the side of the road, they were all Jeeps.
Not surprised.
So,
Not
but
surprised.
you know
No,
what?
not at all.
We're at the end of the show. So, Charlie, where can everybody find you
Oh
when you're not
gosh.
at work?
Well, when I'm not at work, I'm on Facebook. It's just as my name, Charles Fort. I know it says Charlie, but I go by both. If you want, my old channel is still up. Boogeyman Radio. We've got 3 or 4 years worth of content of old topics. We even have some vlogs up of when we're at locations as well. If you find yourself bored, you want to go hang out over there, go for it. We still respond to our comment sections and stuff if anybody comments on our stuff. So I'll go over there and it's just Boogeyman Radio. It's where you can find us. But other than that, I just try to keep it basic, honestly.
Well, you can join me every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for the Paranormal Pride on all the places that you're watching us now, and then also on Dark Realm TV on Roku and Fire Stick. So make sure you check that out. My guest next Monday night is Leatriana Terry Brown, and we're going to talk to her again. And we'll find a special guest for next Tuesday night, and we will surprise you guys with them again. We love the surprises. It's the gift that keeps on giving every week.
Yeah, I've had a great time. I'm glad to come on and talk to you guys. This has been a lot of fun.
So
thanks, Charlie.
And Carl, you want to tell them about everything else?
Yeah. You can find us on the Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment's Facebook page. And, of course, you can always find us. Well, tonight we wasn't on Things Network. We're having an issue with the Facebook over there. But usually you can find us over on Things Network because we're all part of Things Network over there. But we want to thank everybody in the chat room for joining us tonight. And we'll see you next Tuesday here on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.